Good evening, San Carlos. So I never got to finish the van return thing, so I thought I would just do a quick little follow-up, part H. So I waited till the 7:30 ferry, even though I was there at 3 a.m. And I don't want to sound conspiracy theorist or nothing, but certain offices with extra fees are closed at the 5 a.m. ferry. And so, of course, the lone white man looking to move over was bumped to the 7:30 ferry when it came with an extra 400 or 350 in extra fees. So I was a little choked about that, especially because they didn't clarify that. I knew of the terminal fee, but I mean, the terminal fee seems reasonable, as you saw in part, I think, B or C, because you get to charge your phone, sit in aircon, watch some TV, relax. There's a cantina. Well, there's nothing when you're waiting in your car. And the terminal fee is 75 pesos instead of just 15 for a walker. So it's like, okay, so I'm sitting in my hot car dying and I pay extra? Okay, now that's a fucking scam. So that's one that really irritated me. And by this time, I had been up for a day plus. So, and I was hungry. My sen is already gone. So that means I'm more susceptible to small bouts of anger with stupidity. So I pay that unhappily. Sure, it's only 75 pesos. It's not the amount, it's the principle. Which takes me on to my next point. I wait the extra hour and change in the hot sun of the morning, baking alive. I'm tired, I'm grouchy, I have body odor. I just want to hurry up and get on the ferry and go. Well, I can't upgrade my fare to the air-conned area because I have a vehicle. Even if I want to pay them the 40 pesos. I have to pay 280 pesos for a separate passenger ticket. No. I was already broke. I was already running out of money. I spent every last peso I had to get the truck. Now I have it, fine. I had an okay sales day before the power went out. That's why the bad lighting right now is I'm in a brownout. So without electricity, I can't cook. But I have upgraded to a ice box, a refrigeration style. My fish customers know I use these to keep stuff cold all day in the Canadian summer. So I just have basic stuff like mayo in there, a little bit of meat, but I sold most of the burger I bought today already. So yeah, it's okay. It just sucks because it was pretty early. I think it's only like 9:30 p.m. and I'm now closed because there's no electricity. Also no aircon and also no fans. So I am, as you see by the shine, boiling alive here. But so I get my turn in line and they don't push me forward. They're letting all these other cars on that have showed up since. Because I was told to line up in a certain spot when I got there at 3 a.m. and they didn't tell me to move. They said just to stay there. So I had to leave the line and get into the area where I could get onto the boats area. And I'm going through, and they stopped me, some weirdos in pink shirts, and like, oh no, you gotta give us 170 pesos. I said, for what? Oh, it's a dock fee to drive your car on this dock to the ferry. I'm like, no, that sounds very scammy. That can't be right. No, sir. And they show me the tickets, and everyone else has these little tickets. So no one at the freight/ticket center mentioned it. No one at the terminal fee mentioned it. So I was a little pissed off, and I was down to literally my last 200 pesos. So I did it. I paid it, but very upset. I was very vocal about my upsetness. I had totally lost my cool by this stage. Which I'm sure didn't help. If the fee was supposed to be 100, they probably gave me the asshole price of the 170. So I paid it. I got the stupid little tickets. They let me continue down the dock. I get to park in this little niche on the boat, which is fine. I get to get on the boat almost first because I'm a tiny vehicle. And like I said, then I found out they wouldn't let me upgrade. Last time they just let me give them an extra 40 twice. I gave them 40 at the ticket booth. Then they wanted another 40 when I got to the door saying, oh, but your ticket doesn't say you're air-conned. Okay, so just grab me for 40 pesos on the way in, no problem. Here's the other 40. I just want to sleep in the aircon. And as you can see, I think it was video C or D. I'm in an aircon bunk. So I'm just exhausted now by this stage. Like I am just fucking cooked. I've been up for 32 hours. You know what sucks? That's how I know I'm getting old. Because back in the day, I used to own bars and restaurants and stuff and other businesses, and I was there as much as 72 hours in a cycle if I had to. Oh, I'd be wrote off by that 72 hours. My staff would make fun of me because I was like a zombie. I was barely making sense and stumbling and making common mistakes and things like that because the brain starts to break down when you go that long without sleep. I'm reaching that stage now at the 35, 36 hour mark. So obviously I can no longer burn the same candle at both ends like I used to. I guess that's age creeping up on me. So I did sleep on the ferry ride. It's only an hour from St. Carlos, from Toledo to St. Carlos. But I was hot and I was smelling. I could smell my body odor. It was rough. And literally the cot I was on is made out of like a pleather so they can wash them and keep them sanitized. But it was just soaked in sweat, like my shirt, my shorts. It's like I had pissed myself. It was just, I was soaked. And there was no wind coming off the boat. The way the boat's designed, you don't get any kind of wind from it driving or anything. It was ridiculous. I was kind of choked. And I was on the edge of the rows, so it wasn't like in the middle of the rows or anything. If you've seen the video, I think C or B or whatever, where I show the boat, you know what I'm talking about. So I got back, got in my truck. I admit the hour of napping did help reformulate my brain a bit. And it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I really should have went to the market. But since I don't have a refrigerator, at home right now, I didn't want to buy my meat for the week any earlier than I have to. Take advantage of the ice and the situation they've got to keep it cold and fresh. It's not much of a situation, but it's better than what I have. So I didn't buy it. And I came home and I was pleasantly surprised. My woman was home, so my baby girl, I got to see them and took a nice 20-minute shower, which I don't have a hot water thing here. I find the water coming out of the tap is warm anyways, even though it's cold. It ain't cold by Canadian standards, so I can cold shower here all day long, every day, no worries. It feels good. In fact, I'll be doing that before I try and sleep if there's no power, because at least here, when there's no power, there's still water. The catch is tomorrow, there's a very good chance, since we had such a heavy rain tonight, there won't be water for the whole barangay because they shut off the pump station. It's just one of the things you gotta learn of over here, right? And it is irritating. People say, "Oh, I would never live like that." You get used to it. For the cheapness of rent, the beautiful scenery, and the healthier food, you take a few sacrifices. And I don't mind the odd power outage and the odd no water if it means I don't have to live among the crazy lefties of the West, right? So, drug addicts everywhere and all the other things I don't like about back home. So, I got the vehicle back home. I just parked it on the street for now, and I didn't really get to look at it much today. By the time I did shower and I slept in the aircon, and as soon as I hit that pillow, I was out. I was out for like 4 solid hours before I had to get up and go get stuff for the shop. And I am working on a limited menu this week just because of the lack of reef. So I'm buying meats and vegetables literally every morning before I go. So before I open it, so everything is as fresh as possible, right? But this ice box is going to help, and I couldn't find these. I had to buy this off a merchant there. It cost me 300 pesos, but that's cheaper than a cooler at the store, where you buy like a plastic Coleman. We would call them a Coleman back home, and they're like at home cheap. You know, you buy one for like 20, 30, 40 bucks. Here it's like 4,000 or 5,000 pesos. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna buy a used fridge for that. So now I have the truck too. That's the other catch. But I'm broke. I'm completely broke. I don't have any money for a fridge. So my goal is, and I did okay today. Like I said, I turned over everything I paid for inventory for today. I already sold, and I still have some inventory left. So I only need to buy a few things for chili tomorrow, and I'll buy some more beef just to have it, some more buns just to have them. But I have everything else. So I'll probably get away with like spending 400 pesos to restock tomorrow, and that'll give me the ability to make 4,000 pesos. So it's a good deal. And ice is 5 peso a tube. It's super cheap to keep this thing cold. So I'm good. But anyways, but in this kind of extreme heat that I'm in this brownout, the only way I'm going to sleep tonight, even though I am tired as shit, is to get a little drunk and then sleep on the actual tile floor, which is colder than, say, the bed. It's uncomfortable, but the coolness is way better than the hot. So it's probably how the whole game's going to go tonight. But yeah, no cooking means no point being open. So no, so I got the truck home. In the morning when I woke up, or afternoon when I woke up, I went and took it to the market. I grabbed all my groceries in it, bought this thing in it, and I'm getting used to it. I mean, the aircon kind of works. I mean, it at least turns on. I have, like, if I was having to drive in the rain or whatever, problem is, even in the daylight, the windshield being tinted the way it is, it's hard to see. So I do gotta look into replacing the windshield right away. So my priorities are pretty basic. It's gonna be fridge, water and electric bill, then probably windshield. Problem is, and I did find a place that has a hoist. It's like a speedy muffler kind of place, not an auto glass. I checked. So at least they have a hoist though. So I'm gonna try and go in early tomorrow if I can. Just say, hey, can you put me on the hoist? I want to see what's going on. What's rattling under there? What is this loose part? If it's something like a bearing, fine, I'll fix it. If it's a bushing or control arm. One other thing is the vehicle says it's a 4x4. So I don't see any 4x4 control switches anywhere on the inside. So I think that's just a logo, just a sticker, or it's an all-wheel drive vehicle. So it's like 4x4 all the time. But it's not that hard on gas. I mean, I guess it is because it's a 30-liter tank and I ate a quarter of the tank doing 60 kilometers. So that means theoretically I'm only going to be getting 240 a tank, maybe 300 if I push it. Divided by 30. That's 10. That's 10 kilometers a liter. That's not that good, to be honest. But for a little fucking 4-banger or 3-banger, because it's not very many cylinders, that's for sure. It's a tiny ass motor. But no, I'm gonna play it by ear. I'll learn more about it. I went on Facebook to see if I could find like parts, like how it is in Canada or probably in the States too. Marketplaces, you need lens covers or parts, components, inside pieces. You can always find some guy who has one who's selling it for parts. The engine's cooked, the interior's gone, whatever. And that's the other thing is I got to take the driver's seat off and change the bolting pattern because I'm just too fucking big for this vehicle. Like it's really, really inconvenient to drive. I miss my Transit back home. I miss Walt, my bigger truck. Just entirely. It was, it's a really tiny cockpit. It's a really tiny drive. And it makes it hard to even hit the right pedal because there's not a lot of room for pedals. And there's like a shaft for the steering wheel that goes right beside the brake. It's really badly designed. But it's probably okay for a tiny little Filipino person, right? It's just for a bigger guy like me, I'm 6 foot, 250 pounds, it's not made for me. Now, if I can set the seat back maybe 6 inches, 8 inches, that will help a lot. It's going to mess with the other side door, but that door doesn't open right now, and it's pretty rusted and shitty. It's got some big dents in it, so I was just but they roll down the back sliding doors, which I really, really like. Most sliding doors in Canada, there isn't a roll down window in them. You're lucky if it's got like a sliding half window, but so I'm going to try and find a wrecking yard and see if I can just buy a used door and then transfer the components from one to the other. And then this way I'm not wasting time taking out the dents and fixing rusted crap, and the guts of the inside don't appear to be working, so you can't physically open the door. And I'm going to oil everything. I think the vehicle sat for a while. I also have the impression based on the roof that probably at some point this vehicle was flipped. That it landed on its roof and sat that way for at least a little bit. So I don't think I'll ever be able to get the roof looking mint and new again. But as I said to my partner, I think I'll just clean it up as best I can, put a layer of paint on it, and then put a very narrow, like 1 inch high off the deck roof rack made out of stretched steel. So at least visually, you don't see the warped steel and any rust that may or may not spread through. But also then it makes it so that for sure I can tie down things and put things on the roof. My main goal for this truck in particular, at least for now, I mean I might flip it, who knows, but is to make it a cargo hauler, right? So I can start buying things reasonably cheap and flipping them. I didn't put the bike online today because all of a sudden out of the blue, yesterday there wasn't anything like this on there, but here in my own town, there's a shit ton of little bikes, motorbikes for sale, well under the 10,000 peso mark. So I'm not gonna be able to put mine on there because I just fixed everything on, all the lights, the wheels, the brakes, everything. The only thing that doesn't work on is the speedometer, plus I got it registered proper, so I wanted to sell mine for 20. This way I make about 3 or 4,000 pesos on profit on it. And I can use that money to live on and buy another crappy little bike and fix it up. Like, that's what I used to do in Jensen, so I do the same thing. See, the difference is in Jensen, I didn't drive them. I just bought them, worked on them, flipped them. Here I've been driving them, so, it is what it is. Now the side with the van is I think it's probably going to take me between, I don't know what a windshield's going to cost. And once I get on a hoist to determine what is that rattle in the front, what is that causing that issue, I don't know. So until I know, I can't even ballpark it. But I've seen 3 or 4 of the exact same truck in mint condition rolling around town. And on Facebook today, I was seeing the same trucks with minor defects selling for the 60, 70, 80,000 peso range. So if I end up dumping 40 into that truck, I might just break even. But if I dump 40 into that truck to make it mint again, I mean, I might as well just keep it. It's the perfect vehicle for me. Now, the one thing I learned though with taking it on the boat this morning was it's not that cheap to transport a vehicle from island to island to island. They get you with a death by 1,000 cuts, as folks know I call the way they do things here. Yeah, it's a 75 here, 200 peso there, 1,800 peso here, 2,000 peso there. That starts to add up. It cost me about 6,000 pesos all day to go get the vehicle and bring it back here. Now, that's 6,000, and that's not including the repairs or the cost of the vehicle itself. That's just the gas, the bullshit, the freight, all the other stuff. So to drive it, say, down to Dumaguete and then catch the ferry from there to the mainland Menandro, I'm probably looking, I would guess, around the same amount. Well, that's like 100 and a half, 100 and change. So if I'm spending 100 and a half, 100 and change, and then I got to still drive it through Muslim stronghold territory to Jensen, I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it. It's almost cheaper because you can buy a return ticket from Cebu to General Santos for 3,000 pesos. And rent a car down there for 800 to 900 to 1,200 pesos a day, depending on what your connections are like. So it's like, And then when you're renting a rental, it's a nicer car. It's in mint condition. The reason why I would do the yellow thing would be if I was going down there because all of a sudden the American guy who fucked me over calls me and says, I got gcash, here's pictures of your stuff. If you hadn't lost my stuff, I would love to go back. I mean, I had a really nice bed, I had a really nice fan. I had some great kitchen stuff. Now, I expect the kitchen stuff's gone and the bed and probably the fan. Like, I don't know what would be left of the actual collateral items. I would love to get things like my fishing pole, but I can get that on a flight. Fly down there with an empty bag, fly back with a full bag. So I am of the mindset that the idea of taking the van, say, to General Santos is probably not feasible. I mean, it'd be fine if I was having the woman and the baby, because it does have a fold-out, removable back seat. I haven't looked at the quality of that seat yet. Tomorrow I will post a video in the daylight if it's not raining, but it's still power outage, because I don't need power to look at the van and stuff during the day, and I did charge the battery bank in case my phone's dead. And I had to reinstall my gcash, which really irritated me because I could have used that last night when I was all stranded with the tire situation, but it worked out in the end. And just down the street, there's the same vehicle. It's just a pickup truck model though, but it's been there since I moved here. And it's got beautiful rims on it. The tires are shit, but the rims are really nice. So I want to almost knock on that guy's door and be like, yo, bro, let me do you a solid. I will trade you my 4 tires that hold air, or at least 3. So I want to keep one of those universals at least spare, especially the one I just bought. It's fucking brand new. Although the other one has much nicer tread on it, so it's like, I kind of want to keep them both. But I would like to make a deal with them and buy those rims off. If I could, work a deal where I could, 2 or 3,000 pesos for a pair of rims, that's a good deal. The other side of it too is if I just gotta find a wrecker. These are a dime a dozen vehicles over here. I see them all over the place. Like there were so many spots during the night last night. If I had been one of those kinds of guys during the day, I just knock on a door and be like, "Yo, that's clearly an abandoned, broken down, shitty vehicle. Can I buy parts off it?" These people are poor and it's just an abandoned vehicle they've left sitting in their laneway for 5 or 6 years. They will sell you lens covers and light pieces and all the other horse shit because they just want to make some money, right? So my problem is, like I said, I've run out of money now. Which comes to the end of my video where I always say like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell, and just to piss off the haters, donate if you want. I don't mind. I would appreciate it. I mean, I know some people have commented, "Oh, we're never going to donate, Captain." Then don't. But for those of you who are bored, who don't mind throwing a guy a cup of coffee or whatever, who find my videos entertaining, who find me entertaining. This also brings me to another point, just in case you missed it when I mentioned it in the other video, I'll bring it up. If you search my name, you're going to find videos made by other people about me, and one of them is this guy called Sad Grandpa. And he's just a hater blogger, a troll kind of guy. I don't mind him. I actually think he's funny. But he doesn't deal in truth very much, it seems. Originally, I wasn't sure about that until it happened to me myself. Like, he made a video yesterday saying I was getting 200,000 from some other video guy's subscribers. And it's like, no, if I was, I wouldn't need to be asking for donations. 200,000 pesos puts me in the fly over here hard. I wouldn't have had to buy an old clunker van. I would have been able to buy something decent. I'd have 5 tables out front. I'd have ads on the local stations. I'd be doing really well if I had 200,000 just donated to my cause. I had a friend from the West, shout out to Mr. Frankie Blue, who's been a friend for 30 plus years, who was one of my Thailand travel buddies, who's also ridiculously rich. He works in the oil patch in Canada. He does really well for himself. And he's a nice guy. And unlike some of my other friends who are kind of just douchebags about the whole van thing, like, why buying a van, blah, blah, blah. You should just be open 7 days a week and focused on your bar. First off, the reason why I'm only open 5 days a week is I can't buy half of the ingredients for any of the things I need here. As big a city as St. Carlos is, with 150,000 people, it acts like it's only got 6,000 people in it. It acts like it's some little pissant village on the side of a mountain. And it's not. But it just, the people who run it, not the government side, but like the people who own the businesses, are common Filipino people. They just lack business acumen. There's 3 big grocery stores here, but you can't get common spices in any of them. They're all selling the same shit. Be it the Gasamo grocery store, be it the Pure Gold grocery store, be it the other one, which is the Save More. And I don't understand, because Gasamo is a huge company. There's no reason why they need to have a whole row of various soy sauces, but they can't carry taco seasoning, or chili powder, or hamburger buns. Now I admit, the bread thing I understand, because as people have noticed, and I've said it in other San Carlos videos, there is like 4 bakeries on every block in the downtown core. There's got to be about 100 bakeries in this town. And there's no fucking way these rice-eating people are eating that much bread. So they're clearly fronts. They're clearly ways to launder and clean money. They're not legitimate. I mean, they make the bread still, but they're not doing it to actually be successful businesses. That's why they also all make the exact same fucking breads and buns and treats. Like, nobody here does a pretzel. What? All these fucking bakeries and not one does a pretzel? Like, honestly, if I was down on the wharf, I'm adding pretzels to the menu. They're ridiculously simple. I'd add a good pizza. There's no good pizza in this town either. Like, and it's not fucking hard. I made amazing pizza in bars that drunks would love and non-drunks love. So it's just one of these things where we make our sauce from scratch. We did our dough from scratch. Cheese is hard to get here. So this circles back to the point of why am I closed Monday, Tuesdays at the bar? I have to drive 5 fucking hours on a bus to go get supplies. I can't exactly do that if I'm open. That's one. The other side of that is when can I do that? Well, Monday, Tuesday are always been slow business days. And for me personally, people who know me from the fish world know I'm closed Monday, Tuesdays, even at home. Those are days, Mondays sometimes are holidays you get fucked for, but Tuesdays definitely not, where you can deal with the sides of a business that nobody talks about. Dealing with government entities, dealing with merchants for gear and materials, you know, make a doctor's appointment if you need one, a dentist appointment. Like, you need to have some days to do those basic things, and you can't do them if you're open 7 days a week. Now, idiot employers and idiot owners of business, oh, I'm closed on Saturday, Sunday, I want my weekend. Thank you, I appreciate that, because that's exactly why I am open Saturday and Sunday, especially here in St. Carlos. Half of the little cabaderas or cabaneras or whatever you want to call them, little cantinas on my street are closed on Sunday. Probably because they're churchgoers. That's their day of rest. Good on them. So I'm open because that gives me a bit of a monopoly. That's called good business sense, right? So from guys over there in the West who are living ridiculously expensively without any, real hope of leaving anytime soon. They're waiting for their pension age. They're waiting for this. They're waiting for that. I want to spend time with my little kids. You don't even have custody. You see them if you're lucky once a month. What the fuck are you doing living in expensive ass Canada or the States if you're one of those guys when you could be over here living much, much better on $500 to $700 to $800 a month? And people say, oh, you can't live for 500. The same life you're living in the West, you fucking right you can. Because if you're living in the West without a job, hoarding all the wealth you can so you can eventually leave with money, you're not living large over there either. You're drinking Old Milwaukee if you're drinking. You're driving a used car because you don't want to make car payments or you don't even have a car. I know two guys who have sold all their fucking cars already because they were coming here 2 years ago. They're still over there waiting for the right time. I just have to laugh. So for those people that don't value their opinion, them bitching about me buying a van and me, dating a Filipina and having a family, like, please, when you decide to get off your ass and make the move, then maybe I'll take your opinion. When you're choosing to continue to rot in North America, where I don't care what you're doing, you're not living for 500 a month. You're not living for under 1,000 a month. I just don't care. You can try and lie to me. You're not lying to me. I don't believe you. You're lying to yourself. You're not living for under $1,000 a month in Canada. Period. Unless you're living with your ancient fucking parents. And in which case you're okay, you're living rent free. You're still spending pretty damn fucking close to that 1,000 on food, entertainment, and you gotta deal with all the sketchy fucking people over there. And all the bullshit crazy government entities as they add more and more new craziness to the agenda. So, you do you, I'll do me, and I'm happy. I am. I feel incredibly victorious buying this van. And I admit, like, compared to where I live and how I live in Canada, it's a joke. It is. It's a joke that I'm happy with $1,000 vehicle. Over here, it doesn't matter. First off, you can't drive fast. So me bringing over my Escalade or bringing over one of the classic cars would be completely useless here. I would never be able to really enjoy it the way I do in Canada. There's no 110-kilometer highways here. There's so much. I love Carefree Chris has a little woman. He's cycling around, one of the other guys I blogged with before. Good channel, by the way, worth following. Tell him I sent you. I don't mind. He's biking around. He got his woman a bike, and they're biking all over this island that I'm on now. So you go to festivals, and she's described it perfectly. At least this island, for sure. And I found the road between General Santos and Davao the exact same thing when I delivered motorbikes to people. They're like in chicken intestines. It's just a little zoom, 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 up the mountain, down the mountain, up the mountain, down the mountain. Tiny little pissant villages along the way. It's not conductive to anything going fast. It's just outright dangerous to try and go fast. So it's just one of these things where, yeah, this $1,000 max. I didn't pay that much, but let's just say $1,000 vehicle or $1,600 brand new bike over here is really all you need. It caps out at 120. Reminds me of the old Chevettes I used to own that capped out at 120, 140. And I would push those because in Canada there are highways where you can be going 110, 120, no problem. America too. We're just bigger, we're expensive, we're flat. It is what it is. We designed the highways actually for 160, 170. So it is just what it is. But here it's not the same. So, having a smaller, cheaper little vehicle like that is just fine. It is. I don't mind it. I mean, shout out to my man Manny. Sure, he's got an Escalade too. But he's a government guy and he uses it more for prestige. He's not driving that shit all crazy wild when he leaves General Santos. It's the bomb around General Santos. Same if I brought Walt over here, my Escalade, right? I wanted to. I thought about it hard. But I'm not going to change my visa from tourist. And one of the things I will tell you is you really can't bring a vehicle over here if you're a tourist. They have rules against it. And not just the cost. They actually have rules saying, no, you're not staying long enough. You don't need a vehicle here. Now, if you're some special diplomatic guy and you're flying in with a jet that unloads a vehicle while you're here, they'll probably make an exception because they will cash grab the fuck out of you for that, right? They know you're flying in and out of your jet with your rolls in the back, right? Your gates or whatever. They don't care. They'll just make money off it. But a regular Joe coming over on a tourist visa, they just don't let you bring a vehicle with you. So, hence the reason I left everything that I still own at home, vehicle-wise, right? But I didn't own a vehicle the first 2 years I was over here. So this is my first van. This van that I just bought is my first vehicle over here. And I feel it's an accomplishment. And it succeeds on my nickel and dimes quota. It was dirt cheap. I'm down less than, 35,000 pesos, which you do the math in your country, what that is. And that involves buying the new battery and paying for the fucking emergency spare that was middle of the night purchase. They had me buy the short and curlies. Maybe it jumps another 3 or 4K when you add in the freight and getting over here this morning, because I did get gouged there. But I'm never taking that truck off this island. I pretty much decided. Like, if I'm going to go to General Santos on a vehicle of mine, I'm going to do it on the bike. Because I'm not going to sell that bike for under 20. I've got about 13, 15 into it, I guess, now. And everything works. It's mint. It's reliable. It kicks over and right away. The engine sounds beautiful. Yeah, I will try and buy other ones. And I was looking at one for 7K that I would have got if I didn't get the van. It's already sold, right? But now today, like I said, I'm seeing all these bikes for sale dirt cheap. So maybe it's the end of the month. If people are getting ready for Christmas, because they're in their Christmas season already, folks. Like, everywhere you look, it's Christmas music on the radios. There's Christmas decorations everywhere. These people start celebrating Christmas from September to the end of December. And January, worldwide, I don't care what country, in January fucking sucks for businesses, for investments, because everyone's poor after the holidays. So for me, I just think that I can do more with this van. It does give me freedom on this island. So if tomorrow is a good sales day like today was, and I have 3 advanced orders for Friday, actually, for fish. I ran to one of the UKs today at one of the shopping malls, and he put in an order for 2 people. And I already had a guy who's now got a standing order, another UK guy. So it's one of these things where it's slowly building the business here. But the reason why I'm closed Monday to Tuesday is I got to go shopping and I got to deal with personal shit. Those are immigration days. Those are, in this case for the vehicle, going and getting crap for the vehicle. Because there is wrecking yards. I just got to find them. Auto recyclers, whatever you want to call them. So that's pretty much my daily update. the day after the van, we'll call this video. And I do appreciate those who are following and subscribed. And I wish more of you folks who are watching in the shadows, because there's so many. I mean, like the hours I got watched, if I was monetized and I had the minimum subscribers required, I might even see a small check. I mean, I'm not monetized, and that's not my main goal of this channel, of course. But when I'm flat broke like this, that's why I say, throw me a coffee, throw me a this, throw me a that. Donate if you feel like, and I put the stuff in the links, because I know there are people who do that stuff, and some of these channels that I follow at least have went from like nothing in a first year to 1 million subscribers, recycling other content. So I'm always fresh content. Now, I'll continue to bring amazing fresh content videos if I've got the funds to do it. I would love to tour around. I would love to get things going where I can give better videos, but I'm broke and I'm cheap. And so therefore you get these sitting in my house, white wall behind me, not breaking any rules, videos. Now, I am going to start doing videos on someone else's channel weekly. A Learning Messiah. Every time they have me on, they get like 3,000 or 4,000 hits on the shots with me and Adora. So I'm going to do it just to help their channel out, and hopefully I might pick up a few subscribers from it. But that's why I say it's important to subscribe. It really is, because if I can get to that 500 subscribers by the end of the year, I'll be incredibly thankful. You don't want to donate? Fine, then hit the subscribe key. That costs you nothing. Even if you're a hater. If you're a hater and you're hoping I'm going to fail over here, well, you're just crazy. I'm never going to fail. Never going to fail. Because I have confidence, I have ambition, and I have skills. And I can take those three things into any country with nothing but the shirt on my back and succeed. Example, this truck, like I said, it had no brakes, had no battery, had no this, had no that. I made it fire up. I fixed the brakes with two tools. So skills matter, folks. They really, really do. I might even make that the new titch phrase at the end instead of sharing is caring, but skills do matter. And the people who are hating the most are those people with no skills. That's why they're staying in North America. That's why they're, haters. They got nothing better to do but be keyboard warriors, right? Now, for the guy there who did the video about me yesterday saying I got all these donations, I'm scamming this, I wish, honestly, not that I wish to be a scammer, but I wish I was getting those kinds of donations. And I would actually be doing salutes to the people doing those donations if they wanted me to. Like, I have a friend who ran a channel. He's now at like 4.5 million. He's fucking doing so well. And he was just a voice actor before. You know what I mean? Now he's got his own channel. He's doing great. Recycling material, mind you. But he does well. At the end of his show, not only does he have a little catch song and all that bullshit, but he just runs like fucking 3-4 minutes of just names across the screen of people who have thrown him some donations. Tiny amounts, right? So, I'm not going to be him. I'm not trying to be him. That's his main life. He's got a staff of, he told me 8 people now. So his brother's one of them. But I mean, and his woman's one of them. But he's got a huge inventory of staff now. He's making crazy bank. And he's on big shows. Like some of the guys I knew back in the day have done really well for themselves in the modern world. And their shows are really, really big. And like, I'm not going to say names or anything, but I mean, there are some guys where it's like, I would love to be in the situation where that particular friend is, where he's on other guys' shows that I used to know when they were just low-level comedians on the cruise ships. And now they're humongous bloggers, humongous podcasters that really can do whatever the fuck they want, whenever they want. They got fuck you money now, right? So, shout out to Dave Chappelle, who, of course, coined that phrase, fuck you money. And I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't take much to be having fuck you money over here in the Philippines. Well, folks, I am so villainous, and I apologize. I'm at 39 minutes, and I don't want to do that to you. I've always been trying to keep them around 25, so I'm going to let you go. I just didn't do 4 or 5 videos today because the day was hectic, and there's no power, so I got nothing else to do, so I might as well chat with y'all. Like, follow, subscribe. I appreciate everyone who does appreciate me, and I appreciate everyone who does donate. Have yourself a great day. Sharing is caring, just not your personal info. Ciao.